Hello everyone, welcome to Jumbo IS. So we'll discuss day 2 of geography MCQs. The notes have already been shared with you guys and I hope you already have read the notes. And let's start with the first MCQ. Today's topics are basically CDT, continental drift theory, convectional current theory, sea floor spreading and plate tectonics theory plus all important geological phenomena. So let's start with the MCQ so that our revision is top notch. Okay, so let's start with the first MCQ. First MCQ says what? Consider the following statements regarding continental drift theory. This theory, first of all, was proposed by Alfred Wegener in 1912. Yes, the name of scientist is correct and the year is correct. Okay, so first statement is right. According to Wegener, all continents were once part of a supercontinent called Pangaea. So, what does continental drift theory says? That 250 million years before present, there was a super ocean called Penthalassa and there was a supercontinent called Pangaea. Okay, that was present near the South Pole and near southern hemisphere of the Earth. And due to multiple forces, the Pangaea broke into two parts. First of all, so the northernmost part of Pangaea was known as Laurentia, and the southernmost part is called Gondwana land. Okay, so that's basically the postulates of that particular theory. So yes, all continents were once part of a supercontinent called Pangaea. And after breaking of Pangaea into two parts, then ultimately those forces were responsible for multiple breaking of those Laurentia and Gondwana land as well. So North America, Africa, South America, all these continents were formed. So yes, statement number 2 is also correct. The supercontinent Pangaea was surrounded by a large ocean called Penthalassa. Yes, this statement is also right. The breakup of Pangaea began around 200 million years ago. Yes, 250 million years ago, that the starting of Pangaea breaking, and then ultimately Laurentia and Gondwana land were formed. These two continents basically had Tethys Sea in between. Okay, so all these statements, the question is how many of the above statements are correct? Then answer will be your all four. Around 200 million years ago, all the Pangaea began breaking apart. Okay, so that's basically different postulates of this theory. And who gave this theory? We know that. Next is consider the following statements regarding breakup of Pangaea. Number one, Pangaea split into Laurentia in north and Gondwana in south. Yes, if this is the earth, this was the Pangaea presence, and this is your Penthalassa, the super ocean. So Pangaea broke into two parts. One was Laurentia, second was Gondwana land. Okay, in between these two continents, there was Tethys Sea. Okay, so this statement number 1 is right. Laurentia later formed continents such as North America and Eurasia. All the North America plus Europe plus Asia, these continents were formed by Laurentia because it moved northward and ultimately these continents were formed, and this Laurentia broke up into multiple other parts. Gondwana land was responsible for the formation of South America, Africa, and Australia, and Indo-Australia continent. Okay, so yes, the statement number 2 is also right. Gondwana later formed continents such as South America, Africa, Antarctica, and Australia. Then yes, answer is correct. The breakup of Pangaea occurred suddenly due to volcanic explosions. No, basically the breakup of Pangaea was not very sudden. It was very gradual in nature, and the breaking up of Pangaea is not the factor responsible for the breakup of Pangaea is not known. Okay, but we know that there were two forces which were responsible for the movement of this Pangaea and other continents which were formed after breaking up of Pangaea. These two forces were, one was your pole fleeing force, which was responsible for the northward movement of the continents. Okay, and next was your tidal force, which was responsible for the westward movement of the continents. So all the continents present here moved in northward direction because of the pole fleeing force, and because of pole fleeing force was basically originated due to rotation of the earth, and this tidal force was originated because of the presence of gravitational pull by moon and sun. So that was responsible for the westward movement of the continents. So the breaking up of Pangaea was not sudden, it was very gradual, and because of these two forces, pole fleeing force and tidal force. So volcanic eruptions or volcanic explosions are not the responsible factors for that. So yes, that is why the statement number 4 is incorrect. And how many of the above statements are correct? Then answer will be your only 3 option. B would be the answer. Next is consider the following statements regarding forces proposed by Wegener for continental drift. Number one, pole fleeing force caused continents to move towards the equator. Yes, as it was present near the South Pole, all because of the rotation of the Earth, the pole fleeing force was there. The name itself explains itself that basically flying away from the poles towards the equator. Yes, statement number one is right. Tidal forces caused continents to drift westwards. Yes, from the westward to the westward direction, from east to west movement of the continents were there because of the presence of tidal forces. And tidal forces are the differential forces which act on a particular place because of the gravitational pull by moon and sun. Next is buoyancy helped continents float over oceanic crust. The biggest limitation of Wegener's theory was that he did not taken into account that yes, oceanic crust was there. He just imagined that continents are floating over the oceans and nothing is below the oceans. There was no oceanic crust. So that was one of the criticism of that theory. But yes, according to Wegener, if the question asked about the Wegener, then yes, buoyancy helped continents float over oceanic crust, and that's how they broke up and ultimately they convert into different continents. These forces were later justified by various scientists that yes, these forces were responsible for the drifting of continents. Then this statement is wrong because these forces were considered to be too weak to shift the continents from one area to another. And that is why this pole fleeing force and tidal force was not taken into account by other scientists. That yes, continents were drifting apart or drifting towards each other, but these forces are not strong enough to do that, and that's why the statement number 4 is incorrect. So how many of the above statements are correct? Then option will be your B, only 3. And why statement number 4 is incorrect, that concept should be clear to you guys. Next is consider the following statements regarding convectional current theory. This theory, first of all, proposed by Arthur Holmes. We know that what is convection? Convection is the circular movement of the particles of the gas or other molecules. Like we know that this is your lithosphere. Lithosphere, we know that the crust and the uppermost part of the mantle. Then we have asthenosphere. Okay, this is your asthenosphere. Let's just imagine that. We know that as we move from crust to mantle to core, the density, the temperature, and the pressure increases. And as the temperature increases, the area deep down of the asthenosphere, the magma has a very high temperature. So this high temperature leads to the upward movement of the magma. So yes, this magma will come upward, and after hitting this plate, it will go in this direction, it will go in this direction. And as it touches the lithosphere, its temperature again decreases because it has moved to the upper surface or upper asthenosphere. So when it cools down, it will again sink to the downward direction, because anything which is lighter or with high temperature, it will go upward, and anything that has more dense and has a very low temperature, it will go downward. Okay, so yes, it will go downward, and ultimately this kind of circular movement of magma is there. And these are called the convectional currents. And these convectional currents were basically found by Arthur Holmes. He was a British scientist. Okay, so the theory explains continental movement through convection currents in the mantle. Yes, because no pole fleeing force, no tidal force were responsible for the drifting of continents. But as the lithosphere is there and these convectional currents are moving towards the surface and diverging from that point, so they will act pressure over this lithospheric plate. And with the movement of this magma, this lithospheric plate will also diverge away from each other. So first lithosphere was like this, and ultimately lithosphere become like this. The plates are moving away from each other. And why it is so? Because the magma present below or beneath the lithosphere is responsible for its movement in the divergent direction or in the convergent direction. That will depend. Okay, so yes, the convectional currents are responsible for the continental movement. Which of the statement given above is correct? So first and second both are correct, then answer will be your C, both 1 and 2. And yes, this was the force this was the force responsible for the movement of continents, but Wegener did not take into account that yes, this was the responsible force, because Wegener was from Germany and Arthur Holmes was from British and Britain basically. So those two nations are kind of enemy to each other. So that's why Wegener never took into account that yes, convectional currents are the responsible factors for the movement of continents. Okay, so let's move to the next topic. Consider the following statements regarding placer deposits. Sorry. Placer deposits question is there. So there were multiple evidences which were given by Alfred Wegener, like jigsaw fit was there, the South America and African continents are fitting with each other. Then they had placer deposits and they had light deposits, the presence of mesosaurs, fossils, and etc. So these were the evidences given by Wegener. So the question is about placer deposits. Number one, placer deposits are formed by concentration of heavy minerals. Placer deposits are basically what? That this is the area, these gold particles, these ABCD particles are found here, but there is no evidence that these particles are emerging from which point, because there is no nearby rock from where the water and air will be responsible for their movement to this place. So the minerals or the metals or anything, the precious minerals, anything else, so these were present in a particular area and we don't know the particular location from where they are emerged. So that is why they are called placer deposits. Okay, so yes, concentration of heavy minerals. Just like the ocean. Ocean has abundance of gold, silver, any mineral you say that will be found in ocean crust. But we don't know from where this mineral has emerged. So those are called placer deposits. So agents like running water, wave, wind can contribute to their formation. Then answer is yes. Weather and weathering and mass movement and anything else, the exogenic forces are responsible for their movement from one particular point of area to another point of area. Okay, so yes, these statements both are correct. Which of the statement above is correct? So answer will be your C, both 1 and 2. So these placer deposits are basically found in, if we talk about, this is your African continent, this is your South American continent. So it is shown that this African coast, like the Ghana coast or Ivory Coast are responsible for the gold particles. So there is no nearby gold rocks. So the gold rocks are present in the South American Brazil coast. So Wegener suggested that these two continents were joined together earlier, and that's why these placer deposits are present in the Ghana coast, as they have been weathered down from this Brazilian gold coast. Okay, so that's why this was one of the evidence that these two continents were joined together, and ultimately there was a Pangaea, then Laurentia, and then Gondwana land, and ultimately breaking up of all the continents lead to the formation of 7 continents. So that was one of the evidences. So statement number, both statements are correct. Next is, with reference to findings of Harry Hess, he proposed sea floor spreading. Consider the following statements. Number one, the rock equidistant from the crest of mid-oceanic ridges show identical magnetic properties and chemical compositions. So what is sea floor spreading? It is the spreading of sea floor. That name itself suggested that this is the characteristics of this theory. So if this is your oceanic crust, this is your water area, and these are your continental crust, this is your continental crust. So this is your oceanic crust. So the magma is coming upward, because as we move deep down the asthenosphere, the magma has more temperature, and with more temperature it will go upward. So when it goes upward, then ultimately it will break this oceanic crust, and ultimately this crust will move in this direction and in basically in this direction. So this is the area where the magma will be solidified because of the low temperature as it interact with the water. Okay, so ultimately, this new magmatic, basaltic, or oceanic crust is basically formed. So that is how the sea floor is spreading, and these two continents are going away from each other because constantly this magma is responsible for the movement of this plate in both divergent directions. Okay, so that is seafloor spreading. So if we say that this is your mid-oceanic ridge, because this is the area where mid-oceanic ridge will be formed, because magma will be deposited there, and there will be a kind of ridge, a kind of mountainous chains. So this is the axis of the ridge. So as we move equidistant from this area to this area, every rock has the same chemical composition because they are formed at the same time, and because at that time the magnetic property of the earth was in a particular level, so that's why the rocks have been adjusted themselves according to the magnetism of the earth. So yes, they show identical magnetic properties and chemical compositions because they are formed by the same material and at the same time. Okay, so yes, these will be the same identical magnetic properties. The equidistant, these rocks will be the same magnetic material properties. Okay, so this is how the sea floor is spreading. The oceanic crust is significantly older than continental crust due to continuous volcanic eruptions at the ridge. Oceanic crust is very, very young in nature, young in age. Why? Because constantly magma is coming upward and it is basically forming the new basaltic or oceanic crust. Okay, so ultimately this is constantly being formed at every million of years, and but the continental crust is there and it has been just formed once, and the oldest continental crust we have, it is about 3.2 billion years ago, and the oldest oceanic crust we have, it is just 200 million years ago. Okay, so yes, continental crust is very, very old and oceanic crust is very, very young, so this statement number second is incorrect. Oceanic floor sediments are surprisingly thin. Yes, because constantly magma is depositing there, and the time is less because the plate has gone again in the divergent directions. Okay, so ultimately, if plates are not moving in both the directions, then magma will be deposited there, and there will be more thickness of that crust. But it is not so because plates are constantly moving away from each other, and only thinness is there. Okay, so geologically, and ocean floor is geologically younger than continents. Yes, the statement number third is very, very correct. So you should know that what is the sea floor spreading. This is your one of the oceanic crust. This is the magma erupting from the beneath of asthenosphere. This is the plate which is moving in both the divergent directions, and ultimately this is the deposited magma here, and this plate has moved into the different directions. So ultimately new basaltic oceanic crust will be formed, and this is how the sea floor is being spreaded. Okay, so statement number 1 and 3 are correct, so option C would be your answer. Next is your, which of the